Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of our show, the last one for this week. And today I have a special guest with us, Nick Myers, who does investments, works with all kinds of investors on all types of properties. And we're going to pick his brain a little bit about how to get started, what does it look like, and go from there. So let's just bring Nick on. Da-da-da. This mouse moving. And there he is, the
All
man
right.
himself.
Hey,
Hey, Nick, how are you doing today?
doing good, Randy. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Got a nice clean shave on my head. Makes me look 10 years younger. So I got that going for me. Or not 10 years older, whichever
Yeah,
way
yeah.
you
You
want to
want to
look
get
at
rid
it.
of that, the white hair you want to get rid of.
So I was just telling everybody that we're going to take a look at investing from someone who is working with a ton of people. So you see people doing it all kinds of different ways. And what are some of the ways that you see people investing with real estate nowadays?
I mean, so yeah, you're right. I've seen people doing it all sorts of different ways, right ways, wrong ways, but usually the right ways are the ways we're seeing a lot of, especially when you're working with people who have been doing it for a while. They've already gone through those little humps that you always have your first one or two deals. Um, And I did have some notes because I thought you might ask me some questions like that about different types of investments we have going on. So I'll find a lot of people, the biggest bread and butter, especially in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Harford County, are the people looking to buy homes that need some tough love. They got to go in there and renovate them like those HGTV shows you see where the sisters go in there and fix a home that can't sell. That's what these guys do. They go in there, buy a house that's just torn down, and then they update it. And they sell for a lot more, which helps the neighborhood. If you have a house and you're tired of living next to a dilapidated crap hole next to your home, someone comes and fixes it up. It might be annoying for a few months, but your home value just went up, which is a benefit.
Yeah,
And then
and
the another
I'm sure it's very annoying for them, all the riffraff coming and going, and who knows what kind, because that those types of properties breed all kinds of problems.
Yes, exactly. And then another common way people are doing investments is that they are buying and holding those. So you
We
usually
have a
see these
special guest
people.
on the show. Did
We
somebody
do. We have a
stop by?
dog in the room, and he is licking himself ferociously right now.
Is Hannibal going to stop by for a spot on TV? We
I could
love.
probably get him up here for a
See if you
quick
can get him to
peek.
say a
Yeah,
few
come on, boy.
words to everybody.
Hannibal. Hey, come on. Yeah, come on, girl. You wanted this earlier. All right.
Come on, Hannibal. Hannibal
Oof.
doesn't have
See if we can get his face on the camera.
TV
Oh,
shyness.
he is a
Oh,
big
Hannibal,
shy bear. Look at this. Look, yeah.
baby.
He is. It's too late for him. He's ready for bedtime.
I don't think they understand the concept of TV.
Yeah. But a lot of these people doing the buying holds, let's go to that real quick. They'll be buying these properties up. Usually they'll update them a bit. They're not usually looking for what people call a turnkey rental where it's ready to go that day. They want something to get a deal on and put some money into. And on the plus side of that, your renter is probably going to pay your mortgage and then some. So you're making money there. You hold that property for a few years, you've built that equity. That's when they turn around and sell these. About 10 years average. The other strategy is just to hold on to them and keep them as a retirement plan. That's not really a way to make a lot of money, but that's a way to live comfortably. I find most 90% of investors want to make money. So even if they hold a property, it's not indefinite. It's for a limited time.
Yeah, they kind of buy and sell these things like stock. Obviously, not as fast as.
Exactly. Well, it is. It's exactly like stock, but I think it's a bit more reliable because it depends on things like the market value going up on homes, which we've seen, ever since the market crash, home values have gone up.
Yeah, 5% straight over the last 11 years in this area. So it's
Yes.
incredible. It's almost like you can't lose. But what you mentioned earlier about some of the stumbling blocks that people get early on when they're just figuring things out. So I got two questions for you. A, what are those stumbling blocks? And B, how do you help people avoid them?
Well, so a lot of the kind of those questions kind of answer themselves because the most common stumbling blocks are, I would say, people doing it by themselves. Like they're like, I'm going to find this house by myself. I'm doing market analysis by myself. I've got my uncle Joe who's going to help me fix this house up. We're going to save money on this by going to the down to the docks and buying some old stuff there that no one used and it's out of season. Whatever crazy weird pie in the sky thing they have going on, they got off YouTube or they got it off of a book, like you knew this all yourself. And maybe it'll work for a few people, but usually what happens is they realize they're well in over their head for a lot from the beginning. And some of these could have been stopped very easily by working with a contractor instead of working with Uncle Joe, by having an agent try to help you strategize Is this a good property to buy? If it is, what are we going to do to fix it? Going back to that, another big thing we see is overbuilding. You might go in there into a little townhouse in Baltimore City that you buy for 80,000, and you think you're going to sell for 250,000, and you want to make it look really nice, like those girls on HGTV do. So you put about 120,000 in there. Now you're at 200,000, and your profit is pretty much gone after paying any kind of transfers and taxes. Monthly wise, you could have made as much money probably flipping burgers, and that's not the goal. We want you to make a lot more money. And I'm going to kind of hijack that with this question. I did tell you a bit about this, but I drew a little chart just to kind of visualize what people want to have when they come in and what they get out of if they don't have all those things. So I don't know. Can you share my screen? Or can I
Cool.
share my
Let's
screen?
see.
I can
Can I
share.
share your screen? You are
No, no, no.
testing
I shared my screen.
the limits of my abilities here. So it does not look like I have access to yours.
Here we
Can
go.
you?
I got it. I figured it. I think I
Oh,
figured it out. Am I sharing?
that's you. Okay.
Randy, am I sharing my screen?
Not yet. Did it say it was?
Did it say it was?
Yeah. Ooh, my computer's froze.
Try it
Oh,
again.
I'm sharing Firefox. Oh,
Yeah, it's
I want
very
to share the whole
tricky
thing though.
as to which thing you have to. If your screen looks like my screen,
If
I
your
go to
screen looks like my
screen and then I go to
Here.
window.
I found out. I got it. That should work, right?
Try one more time because I was in it as well. So I might have
If
actually.
not, I'm going to give up. But let's see. Okay, show. Share, understand, paints, allow. Here we go.
Oh, there
works,
it
right?
is. Hold on.
So,
No,
little
no, I
Venn
got it.
diagram.
There we are.
Okay, so it's just a little Venn diagram for everyone to look at. And right here, we've got three big circles. So these are the three things everyone needs to get started. The most important thing is your funding. You need to have some funding to buy that new house. The next most important thing you need is a realtor, and we're going to get to that in a second, to help you find the right house, strategize selling the house, and what to do. And the third important thing is a contractor. They're the ones that are going to go in there, obviously, and do the work that someone like you and me can't do ourselves, unless if you are a contractor, which God bless you. A lot of failures we see is when someone just tries to have one or two of these things, and not all of them. So maybe you have funding, and you got a contractor, which is great. You can fix homes with that. Maybe you have funding and a realtor, which is also great because you can buy homes. But unless you have a funding, a realtor, and a contractor, you don't really start making that money because you're not going about it the right way.
Gotcha. I love the way you have your overlaps there and everything. I've actually never seen it like that, so it's very enlightening.
Yeah, yeah, and you might not
Tell me
notice
more
if you
about
have a
that.
contractor and a realtor, you really just have two friends.
I have two friends. That is the most
Yeah.
hilarious part. You're just making friends.
I hate to say it, but we're not really good without money. Kind of like lawyers aren't good without a crime being committed. Doctors aren't good unless you're sick. Well, realtors and contractors aren't good unless there's money to have. And that is one obstacle a lot of people think they can't overcome. Because you'll think, okay, well, I want to build equity. I want to have something that maybe I can pass down to my children. I want to stop having this rat race at the office, but I don't have any money. So how do I do that? And that's true. Like not all of us have $200,000 or $100,000 to pump into this, but there are a lot of ways you can do this. Some common ways are people will a lot of times get a loan. I have an investor. His go-to phrase is, "I'd rather make money off someone else's money than risk my own." So he's always doing loans. He's using the house he's buying as another house he's flipped as equity, or he's using something else as collateral. He's usually putting just like 10% down. So if you're going to go into a big job and you're thinking this is a big thing I'm overtaking, I don't have $200,000, you may just need $20,000. Which again, we understand that's the still a big lump for a lot of people. But a lot of people do have to work and save and have this strategy of how I'm going to get that. And there's not many businesses you can get started in with just $20,000.
It's true.
Imagine
Very,
being like,
very
I want to
true.
be a franchise owner at
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. I don't know how much money that costs, but you got to wait about 6-7 years to even like get to their waiting list. Let's say you want to start your own small business. You have to buy a brick and mortar store, hire employees, have a product to sell. That's all a big capital investment. So, and I'm sure that is going to cost you well more than 20,000.
Yeah, definitely.
So it may seem like a daunting thing, but I will say it is actually one of the lower bars of entry for getting any kind of large scale business that you can have and be independent with.
And actually, flipping a house is, as far as money out of pocket, it's actually cheaper than just buying an investment property because typically you need 20% to buy a rental, right?
Way cheaper, yeah. So
Yeah.
if I was going to buy a rental in a good area, let's say I wanted to buy something in Canton. If you're familiar with Baltimore, Canton's a very nice area. A lot of people like to rent that area. I could probably find a decent home with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths for around 300,000. And then I'm gonna need 20% down. That's 60,000. Maybe instead I want to flip a home and it's a house I'm going to sell for 300 and I buy it for 100 and I'm gonna put 120 to fix it, which aren't uncommon numbers for these townhouses in Canton.
Yeah.
I'm just going to need 22,000 to get that loan started. So there's $38,000 that I didn't need that the guy who wanted to do a rental needs. He'll have to wait a few years to really see that profit. I'll be getting my profit in about 3 to 4 months. Max 6 is the longest I've usually seen these things take. And then I can take that and I can put in my next projects.
Yep, definitely. Good stuff. So, okay, so we talked about flips. We talked a little bit about buy and hold. Is there anything else that you see people that are doing?
There are some odd things I've seen, and there's always gonna be these odd things. People this kind of goes with buy and hold, but a lot of people are buying what are they called? Airbnbs. Instead of
Oh
doing
yeah.
rentals, they're doing Airbnbs. Which I guess gives you a little bit of a different outlook on it. I've seen people doing condos, and I'm not sure how I feel about that because as you know, condos don't really build equity that well. So you need to make a lot of
Yeah.
money off that Airbnb, but you'd never do that with a rental. So it does give them some avenues that rentals and flips don't have. And then there's some other ones that I don't see too much of. You've probably heard people talk about REIT, real estate
Yep.
investment
I hear
transactions.
it
I
on the
think. I
radio
mean,
all the time. Sounds
yeah,
very
yeah,
good.
that's kind of like investing stocks. I feel like even as a realtor, I feel like investing in stocks gets you more than just doing that. But yeah, there are some few ways to do it. But again, I focus on really the ones that I know are going to make money, and that's really buying and flipping and doing the BRRRR method: buy, rehabilitate, rent, and then hold it to you, sell it.
Gotcha. Cool.
And I
And
think a lot of
so,
people they're like they get this idea in their head, I can't do investments unless if I'm going to be an entrepreneur or I'm going to be a have lots of money or lots of credit, and that's not really the case. Because I will say this, it's a bit for everybody. If you're looking to retire soon, you could probably start investing. If you're young and like maybe you do have the good credit and you can get a loan, maybe you have family that's going to help you out. I've seen young people want to get an investment too. So it's not really just the people who are older and already established and have a lot 20 or 30 years left in life. It's from every walk of life.
when I see these advertisements on, well, I don't see them on TV because I don't watch TV, but when I hear them on the radio and whatever, and it's like, hey, this is Than, I'm not going to finish that sentence, blah, 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 from Flip This House and blah, blah, blah. Come to my show. It's at the Baltimore Convention Center or BWI Airport or something like that. The problem I have with those guys is that they're selling these things. I've heard anywhere from like $3,000 to $10,000 are selling their programs and stuff. And then at the end of the day, you still don't have any of the three items. You have less money, you still don't have a contractor, and you still don't have a real estate agent to guide you. I have people come to my initial licensure class all the time that are looking to flip a house or looking to get in investments. And I was like, well, who's going to be your real estate agent? And they're like, well, I'm going to be my real estate agent. And I tell them, like, you're going to have a fool for a client. You're going to be doing one deal a year, maybe 2 deals a year. It's not going to be your full focus. Why don't you make your full focus renovating the house? So tell me, Nick, when someone says they want to invest, if I was on the phone with you right now, which we kind of are, when you consider the internet is like a link to like phones and stuff. And I was saying, hey, I want to invest. What are some of the steps that you would take with me to help me get started?
Well, first thing, talking's one of the best first steps. And I really would try to get you face to face because that's where we're going to be able to get the most damage done and figure out as much as we can about you, and you learn as much as you can. Like you mentioned, those seminars people go to, and they do pay a ridiculous amount of money for them. And the sad truth is, they could probably sit down with someone for an hour or two and learn just as much. If they found someone who'd been doing investments, they could have, or a realtor or a contractor who like specializes in that. So really, the first things we'd be trying to do is figure out what are your goals? So what do you want to do? In your case, like I know you like to do flips. So we'd know what you want to do. Then we'd have to ask you like, what have you done already? Have you saved money up? Have you started looking at the market? Have you talked to a contractor? That kind of decides like what's the next step. Because you've already found a realtor. You're talking with us. So you're taking one of those big first 3 steps. I'm assuming in most cases, people who want to invest have money or have an idea how to get money. We always discuss that though. I'm never going to take the assumption and make myself look bad once we get to find a house. But let's take that assumption and say you do have the money. The next thing we're going to talk about is we've got your goals. We've got 2 of those pillars. Is really finding some houses and getting you in touch with a contractor. Nothing really kind of separates the men from the boys more than actually getting out there and look at the houses. Because I have had a lot of people who want to invest. They have the capital. They talk to me. They talk to my contractor that I refer them to. And they never want to do anything. They look at houses all day and never want to do anything. So I know you really want a bit more of like, what do we do to like find out face to face? But it really is getting out there in the weeds with people.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I like that you mentioned that one of the first things you do is definitely sit down and go over and make sure that they have those 3 things. And if they don't have those 3 things, we need to get those 3 things before we start. I mean, I think that is key.
Yeah, like we're not even going out to look at houses if you don't have any of those.
Definitely. Yeah, because that is a fool's errand. It's the same thing as when you're looking to buy a house just normally that you're going to live in. People are like, oh, I want to go look at this house. I want to go look at this house. And we are like, hey, why don't we do, 5 minutes of planning? What's that phrase? You probably know that phrase, 5 minutes of planning. Or
I don't know. I know
Might be
piss
5
poor
minutes.
performance leads piss poor planning leads to piss poor performance.
Or an ounce of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I'm thinking of the wrong phrase, but
Oh,
it still
that sounds
applies.
good.
So yeah, plan it out. So Nick, let's do a little bit of shameless advertising here. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would you like them to get in touch with you to talk more about investing?
Well, that's actually really easy. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, and if you don't get a hold of me, I'm pretty easy to call you back, or I'm pretty quick to call you back. So the best way to get a hold of me, if it is a not emergency, not quick, you can email me, and that's just my name, Nick, at marylandhomes.pro.
Got it.
The other easy way to get a hold of me, and maybe the easiest and the quickest, is my cell phone, which I can put out there for the world. Let's see. That's fine with you, Randy?
Yep, please.
Yeah. So my phone number directly to me is 386-266-7236.
And then I'll post all that.
Yeah, calling
information.
me and email me is the best. Texts tend to get lost. I don't know if a lot of you have businesses you run, but once you start running a business, even with real estate, it's a self-run business. You get a lot of texts, and a lot of them are spam automated, and the ones that aren't get lost in that mess with the rest of them. I don't know how many clients that I texted you. Did I reply? Because I didn't see it. There's never an excuse for that, but you have to get a hold of people the best way. Calling's always
It is
the best.
tough. And we get tons of messages every day, so we're always going to get back to people. The hardest part, I guess, about our job is just separating the looky-loos from the people that are serious. So if you want to start out the conversation with, hey, I'm serious about investing, I'm all ears. Let's make that happen. I'm serious about buying a house. Let's do it. So, well, thank you, Nick, for coming on. It was very enlightening to hear all about the investing stuff. I was a little shocked to hear how cheap it is with the hard money and everything. So that is definitely
Yeah. And a lot of people overlook that too. Like, we're not all millionaires. We're not all Trump. We can't just buy a house or get a loan or borrow money. So we have to get a loan from the bank to make it rain.
Yep, definitely. Well, and we'll post Nick's information. So give him a call if you are looking to invest, and he'll help you today. And thank you again, Nick. Good night, everyone. And we'll see you next week.